if you're looking at employees, the main thing is to feel valued. It's still important to come up with solutions and experiences for even just one person in your team. So yeah, I'm really passionate about it being for everybody. It doesn't matter how many people are in the organisation, everybody needs their well-being and their mental health looked after.
People are different, breathing differently, like fingerprints. All of us have different breathing habits, and one breathwork technique doesn't work for all. Wellness and health space, we sometimes forget that people are individuals. They have different stories, and I agree, like listening to them, listening to their story. And I've been teaching for a long time the fact that we need to listen to people's breathing stories. So when you look at employees, and you probably know more about their needs than anyone else, what do you think their deepest needs are right now in the world? Or in just England,
Well, I mean, I think if you're looking at employees, the main thing is to feel valued, because I feel like with well-being, it can be such a buzzword, and there could be a lot of people talking about it and maybe doing a light touch of things, which is great, because I feel I'm a great believer in a light touch is better than no touch at all. So I'm not saying that you need to go kind of hell for leather for a big kind of scheme or something, but I feel like with the employees, they need to feel valued. They need to actually feel like they are being looked after, because in turn, with feeling valued, you're going to show up more. You're going to want to show up more. You're going to be passionate about what you're doing, because obviously that employer is believing in you and investing in you and trying to get the best out of your health and well-being. So I feel like that's number one, really, feeling valued and listen. And in turn, to feel valued, you need to listen. You need to ask questions to actually formulate any type of wellbeing strategy or support that's going to be right for your team, for those individuals, not something that's a pick up and a put down from something else, from some other audience. So I feel the key thing is feeling valued, and in turn listening and implementing to ensure that it's for that audience.
Yeah, great. So having said that, do you also offer programs to employees individually, or is it just groups? Like how do you support that individuality?
Yeah, both.
Especially in the workplace.
Both. It's really important to me. When I started this business, you've obviously got big corporations and they've got, bigger understanding, bigger budgets. But then you've got small companies, startup companies, people. I was at an event the other week, the Water Cooler, which is all about well-being in the workplace, which is fantastic. And a couple of people coming up to me and they just didn't want to, they were just like, oh, you don't want to talk to us. We've only got 5 members in our team. And I was like, no, I do want to talk to you, because it's still important to come up with solutions and experiences for even just one person in your team. So yeah, I'm really passionate about it being for everybody. It doesn't matter how many people are in the organisation, everybody needs their well-being and their mental health looked after.
Yeah, sure. And I think doing assessments individually,
yes,
and analyzing, like on our side, I've been working on analyzing breathing habits, because I'm an authority in breathing sciences field. So my concern has been the fact that people are breathing differently, like fingerprints. All of us have different breathing habits, and one breathwork technique doesn't work for all. A technique that relaxes someone might be stressing them out, because we all have different breathing habits. Like I just finished a certification program here in London today, actually. And at the end of the program, we had some people come over for a 2-hour breathwork workshop, not breathwork, but breath coaching workshop. And we saw that each of them were different breathing differently. So if I was to teach one breathwork technique to all the group, we would probably have a lot of problems, because, for example, one individual was breathing too much in the belly, and then the other had a reverse breathing habit. The other was breathing unbalanced. The other had a performance breathing habit. So they all needed different tools and different breathing techniques. And we were able to analyze all of them one by one. And the reason why I asked you the question is because I think in wellness space and wellness and health space, we sometimes forget that people are individuals. They have different stories, and I agree, like listening to them, listening to their story. And I've been teaching for a long time the fact that we need to listen to people's breathing stories, because their breathing habits started when they were, teenagers or when they were children, and they have a history. And dysfunctional breathing habits have motivation. So it's really it's important to understand why people are motivated to do unhealthy things, of course, in their breathing habits, and also for us in their thinking habits. And then going from there, like listening to their stories, where they are, their past, even their ancestors, their mothers and fathers, because the whole, thinking and behavioral habits are, have a root, have a past, even, in the family, so it's really amazing to see how we are evolving, and also interesting to see how much work that needs to be done. Like, as an expert, as a scientist, there's still a lot of work to be done. I see that we're still on some shallow level, because it needs like a deep assessment and deep analysis with each person. So having said that, how does the companies and the maybe NHS as well, like the associations, the corporates, see individuality? Like, do they kind of ask you to, force, individual help, or do they? So my question is, on an expertise level, being someone who wants to help people, do they see it kind of like okay, we need wellness, we need mental health, let's do something about it, or are they truly really interested in helping people? Because I think that makes the whole difference.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, and there's lots of points to that, because I think, to your point where you were talking about individuals breathing very differently and having a very bespoke experience and knowing how to breathe for them, that enhances power as well, right, for you as an individual. So I'm all for that, 100%, for that individuality, and making something that, like breath work, and movement. If we all know how best to breathe and eat and move for our bodies, that's an absolute inner power and strength and wisdom to make us, show up better every day for ourselves, for our family, for our workplace. So there's huge credibility in that. And then I think on the other side of the coin, there's a huge credibility and need for the teamwork, the camaraderie, the bringing together, the connectivity, something that was completely lost in lockdown, and it's still fragmented where we're in a very hybrid way of working. So to your question, I feel like the companies are trying to do both, and they're trying to do both as best as they can. And you're looking at the likes of organizations that have been doing this for quite some time, and their strategies are amazing. And things like in their contracts, even, they've got elements saying, when you go on holiday, it's a digital detox. So you're actually writing, you're committing onto a piece of paper. They're saying to you as an organization, and this is the most key part, is that it has to be from the top down. I feel like with organizations, when they say something but they don't do it, it's never going to sit. Because, for example, the digital detox, if your CEO or MD, whoever it is above you, is saying totally switch off, but then they go away to the Bahamas and they're getting back to their emails, and then you're just thinking, oh my God, if they're doing, I need to do it. Although it says that in my contract, I feel an obligation, like I should be doing this. So it has to be from the top down, which is imperative. And I feel like those stages of organizations that have got, strategies in place, and they relook at them and they're looking at their ROIs, and there's actually, analytics and everything going on there, that's fantastic. But then there's other people that are just getting on the stepping block. And I feel, to your point, it's really important to have an individual care, but I feel like whatever block you're on, just keep going. So it might be that people at the first instance, for budget or for not really the full awareness of how they can put strategies together, they're putting wellness team building activities together. They're quarterly doing something that's with well-being in mind. They're inviting in well-being Wednesdays in the office, mindful Monday morning meetings. They're doing feel good Fridays. They're giving their company an hour back at the end of every Friday to do whatever they want to do. I think all of that is great. And that, again, is an individual thing, because you're kind of saying to yourself, your organization, right, you've got your idea of a happy hour, because we like to suggest this to our clients, is, and what's that happy hour to you? So Friday, you all log off at 4 o'clock. Is that walking the dog? Is that going to spend time with the kids? Is that going to a yoga class? Is that doing a HIIT class? Like, whatever that is for you. But then it's good to have it like on an internal comms, like communication, because I feel like if you're going to give back to everybody individually like that, you need to kind of pull them all together to be, you know, on some sort of teams or whatever it might be, sharing what they got up to, sharing pictures. Here's me walking the dog, or here's me in the park with the kids. And I feel like in turn, you're looking after them in their individual needs and what that is for them. You're learning what that is as well. So you can collate all of that. So that when you come to do something as a team, you know that you've got half of your audience that like to, you know, take a few deep breaths and spend time in nature. And then maybe you've got another segment that like to, you know, do hard hitting exercise. And then you might have another lot that just want to sit and watch a movie. And I feel like to that degree, people can then, you know, start to do their building blocks and kind of almost come at it from both angles. Depends where everybody's on their journey, to be honest. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I feel from my experience,
lovely. Yeah, you're bringing individuality, individual choices, and ideas and everything. And of course, it needs a lot of awareness for people to decide, you know, on what they want, or truly, really, you know, understand what they want. So I think our job is also to build this awareness. So what would you like to say to companies, business owners, or organizations that want to help their, you know, employees, or, you know, the group they're working with, to, you know, on wellness and health?
I think, I guess to repeat what I've kind of said, in the sense that it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, start the journey. Or if you haven't started, start. There's no wrong step. There's no wrong turn. I don't believe. If you're fully passionate about doing it with the well-being, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all encompassing for your employees, you're on the right track already. And I feel like if you're coming out somewhere into the journey, and maybe you're looking for further engagement, or you're looking for more direction, there's just so much out there now. Like I say, I attended an event the other day, and it was a convention, a corporate event with just literally well-being all under one roof. That's been unheard of. You obviously go to conferences and there might be a health and well-being section, but we've come on so much now that there is all under one roof, a lot of service providers out there to help you. So I feel, you know, with applications like yourself, as well as, you know, physically going in and helping in the workplace like ourselves, where we do workshops and things as well, virtually, you can do everything now like this. I feel like there's no excuses for not starting or not progressing. So I would just say either make a start or keep going.
Yeah, I know. Also, you also said like some companies are adopting wellness days, or at the end of the week. If I ask you something like, as a case study, which has been more, like, what's more effective according to your opinion? Like, is it bringing wellness into the office, creating times for, you know, breath work, meditation, mindfulness, or is it maybe leading people into, I don't know, retreats in the weekend, or, you know, to be digital free, or, you know, what do you think? Which of them works best?
I mean, that's a great question. I honestly do think all of them serve their purpose and serve their place. But I think for me, consistency obviously is key. So I think if you are doing something, it would be good to have a consistent awareness of well-being in the workplace, or what does well-being mean to you, or your idea of a happy hour. I think rather than it just be one Friday of the month when it's Stress Awareness Month, it needs to be, you know, every other Friday, or it needs to be every Friday. I think there just needs to be a consistent care there for sure. Retreats and things like that are really immersive, and I feel like there's a sense of, when we do our events, I feel like all of it works, I really do, but there's something very different to people committing and, you know, getting in a car or getting on a train and actually going to a destination and fully immersing themselves into something. But that's, of course, for maybe, you know, like leadership, and where you want to get these people together all under one roof and give back to them. Because like I say, it has to start from the top down. So I feel like there has to almost be the yin to the yang, where you've got leadership, which are getting all of the education and they're getting all of the opportunities to really put things into place, to then ensure that that filters down, right, okay, what's our strategy now to ensure that our employees are valued, well looked after. In this day and age, we obviously all work differently. We've all got commitments, whether that's family or other jobs, anything like that. And I feel like the one thing that's come out of lockdown, which has been so good, is this understanding of you can still work from home. You know, people can go pick up their kids from school, or people can go walk the dog in their lunch break. So I feel like that's something that's changed, and I feel that there's a positive approach to that, because again, these things need to be in place with consistent care so that you can see the results, you can see the rewards, you can see the change. So I feel like, again, if people just more implementation of things, you know, 5 years time, I feel like we would have come a much longer way than we are now.
Yeah, exactly. Consistency is the key, because
Yeah.
you then build up. It's not just a one-time experience. And yeah, I fully agree with everything you say, like retreats and taking time off a couple of days. That's great for companies, team, leadership, and also implementing it in your daily life.